Oh, landmines and jellyfish. Welcome back to Knives, I guess, and it's day 758. McDonald's still won't let me see the shed where they keep Grimace locked up. I demand justice and answers. But while we wait to see that shed, last night we did a live stream, and I set out to do a new personal best. So the old record was 7 hours. We managed to make it 8 hours last night, and for that 8 hours we went in on the Kizer Sheepdog XL. So what happened was, during these streams, quite frequently questions about 154 cm and 14C28N came up. We attempted 14C28N, but it was on that Sativian ST155, and that knife was so bad and so painful to use that it didn't last an hour before I threw it in the box and grabbed something else just to finish the stream off with. The 154 cm, though, I thought I didn't have any until I did my last pocket check on this. I was like, wait a minute, this isn't D2, is it? And I looked, no, 154 cm. So we started the stream, and I set it out there and I was like, do we want to go straight in on this or let the 20-sided die pick the knife? They wanted the 20-sided die. It still picked this thing out. So this was fated and the pact is sealed. The dice god smiled upon me. And like I said, that stream was 8 hours. And I enjoyed that one. We had guys that came in and had very, very interesting questions that were fun to talk about, that were all knife related. And we also got on a long tangent about Star Trek: The Next Generation and really got into that. And I can't tell you how much I enjoyed that. Unexpected tangent about one of my favorite TV shows I hadn't thought about in a long time. So drop by and check out a stream. Stuff like that happens, and it can be a lot of fun. But, that's neither here nor there. That's besides the besides. This thing tanked a whole 8 hours of Cardboard Slayer. I mean, it tanked it. And, one thing to note going in, let's take a look at this thing. So, first things first, and most importantly, the pocket clip is tip up, which is the Lord's carry. You've got this G10 with the texturing and the milled out spots for your grip. You got a flipper tab right here, so let's flick the bean. That's a big bean flick, gentlemen. And, some guys are all about knife acoustics. I'm not one of them. However, listen to this. That just sounds amazing. I love that sound, and I'm not sure why it sounds like that, but it does. So, we went through this 8 hours, and, one of the first things that I had to mention about this thing that, the one thing that I didn't like is the factory edge wasn't as fine as I like to get them. Like when I first got this thing, of course, the factory edge felt plenty sharp. I hadn't had a ton of knives and hadn't been through a ton of stuff yet. Hadn't gotten my cold steels in yet and seen that factory edge. But, when you're doing the saran wrap cut, getting the saran wrap cut off pallets, going through the middle, pretty easy cut. That's not hard to do. But that last layer on the bottom, a good, really sharp knife will blast through it like you're cutting water. And if you got some dull spots or edge wear or edge issues, they hang up and pull more than they cut on that last single layer. And you guys that watch this video know this, but you guys that are new here and just seeing this, that's one of the metrics for me for edge quality, because that's what I have available to me to test with. Now that being said, the edge made it harder to push through the cardboard than my finer edges. It was definitely it's more of a wedge-shaped edge. The angle's a little bit more obtuse than I like, and, a nicer edge angle would have cut a lot easier, but, the last couple knives we had that had this obtuse of an edge needed to be sharpened fairly quickly into it. They might make it an hour, but this thing ran the full 8 hours, and maybe at about the 7-hour mark, we started really seeing edge wear, and then by 8 hours, like, the edge wear was at the point where it's like, we got to stop and sharpen this thing. Doing the cuts on the cardboard, the edges were starting to wad up and roll instead of cut easily, and you had to get just the perfect angle on it to get a clean cut. So, even with the edge angle being obtuse, it still went that long before it started showing that kind of wear. And, normally the obtuse edges are supposed to hold up and hang on to their edge retention a bit better, but with Cardboard Slayer, they pretty quickly start showing where the cut's too nasty to keep going on that edge. It's just, the cardboard doesn't like being cut that much with that edge angle, so that thoroughly impressed me. 8 hours on that factory edge, and let's see what we got here. And of course, doing these cuts with the paper under the camera here, not the easiest thing to pull off, so let's see what we get. So yeah, like it's still making these cuts, but if you can see, the edge is lifted and rolled and ragged here. And of course, this one right here, where it didn't have just the perfect angle on it, tore a little bit. So like, that is indicative of some pretty noticeable edge wear. The cardstock also tends to show edge wear pretty easily. Yeah, like, it's not completely unusable, but there is some wear there. And you know, again, that was after 8 hours. And normally I'll strop these things up, try to get them as sharp as I can again, just to make myself happy at the end of the stream, and we didn't touch the edge. The guys said, don't touch it for the aftermath video, leave it as is, so I did. Now, when I go to sharpen this thing again, it's getting its 18-degree angle because I really, really do like that angle. And maybe if I get some time to carry it again, I'll be able to enjoy that. I'm glad I did not do that before the stream started because this thing had been carried. It had been beaten on a little bit. It saw use before we did this. I did strop it before we started, but didn't do anything else. So that performance was really, really impressive. I can't articulate how surprised I am by that. Now this one cost me $89 on Amazon. They are still up on Amazon, a different configuration. Still 154 cm, still the same size blades, still that same 4 inches. But there's like, I think, carbon fiber instead of G10. I don't see the G10 on there anymore, and I haven't for a while. I know someone found them on sale for like 50-ish bucks somewhere, but I don't remember where. Maybe he'll share it in the comments. But, you know, and again, like, I love my pocket swords. I love my pocket cleavers. I had to have this when a friend of mine told me it existed. So here we are. And, you know, it got a lot of carry time. And this is one of the things I love about these things is the shock value when you whip this thing out. You know, if you've got an audience and you bust one of these things out, the reactions are always priceless, and I love a good reaction off of something like this. There's a reason it's one of my favorites, and I've got other pocket cleavers that are approaching this size. This is the biggest one I have, and they are also absolute joys to carry. And yeah, so we did the live stream. This thing tanked 8 hours of cutting. Hasn't been sharpened since then, and it's still kind of cutting the paper. There's a lot here to be impressed by. Now, if I put that 18-degree edge on it, we'd probably still be sitting here and be like, 19 hours into it and still cutting, because that 18-degree angle tripled edge retention on the first knife we did with that, and that was some garbage steel. So when I do sharpen it again, it's getting the 18 degrees, and I'm getting it as sharp as I can, putting my edge on it. So, you know, that I just wanted to share that with you. You know I love sharing the results of a cardboard slayer afterwards. Blown away. So glad I tried to break a record here. Otherwise, we wouldn't have found this out about it. Yeah, all that being said, thanks for looking at my crap. Subscribers, a bunch of y'all came in last night. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. You guys are awesome, and it's very humbling that you guys are watching this and getting something out of it. I will always tell you I am very grateful. Comments, I love some feedback. You know, what do you think about what happened here? If you've got one of these Sheepdog XLs, how much do you like it? You know, all the usual stuff, or anything else. And all that being said, y'all have a nice day.